And straightway he constrained his disciples to get into the ship and to go to the other side before unto Bethsaida, while he sent the people away. That's Mark chapter 6, verse 45. But the verse that I so love, Mark chapter 6, verse 46. And when he had sent them away, he departed into a mountain to pray. This is my memory verse. I so love it. Now look at verse 45. And Jesus constrained his disciples to get into the ship. I have a question today. Why is it that Jesus had to constrain his disciples to get into the ship? You remember how they were called. When he saw them, he just said, "Follow me." And they followed. When he saw Matthew by the tax collector, both as he was collecting tax, Jesus said, "Just follow me." And Matthew followed. But in verse 45, Jesus had to constrain them to get into the boat and to go to the other side. What had happened? What's the problem? Now we're given the answer as to why Jesus had to constrain his disciples. John chapter 6, verse 15, commenting on the same issue, said, "When therefore Jesus perceived that they wanted to come and take him by force and make him king, he departed into a mountain alone." Now, do you see the reason why Jesus had to constrain his disciples? The record says, after they've eaten the 5 loaves and 2 fish, they agreed among themselves, "Let's make this man a king." Then they said, "No, he's going to deny." Then they said, "We are going to do it by force." So when Jesus perceived that they wanted to take him by force and make him king, he departed into a mountain to pray. Now I have another question now. When he raised Lazarus from the dead, they didn't want to make him king. Even when he healed Peter's mother-in-law, they didn't want to make him king. But that day when he multiplied their bread, the record says they wanted to make him king. Do you know that in life, there are people who are enthroned in the thrones of life, not that they deserve, but they have the capacity to increase somebody's bread. The reason why they wanted to make him king, it's not because they didn't say he deserved, but they say because he's multiplied bread. Why do you respect the people whom you respect with that type of respect? Is it a question of love or there's bread around? People have a tendency of respecting people or over-respecting people who have the capacity to multiply the bread. Well, let's look at my memory verse. Memory verse 46 says, "And when he had sent them away, he," referring to Jesus, "departed into a mountain." To do what? To pray. Now, I don't understand verse 46. Why? It says Jesus departed into a mountain to pray. Do you know Jesus? He is God 100%, human 100%. He had time for prayer. He had no bills to pay, no rentals to pay, no school fees, no exam fees. He had time for prayer. Himself, he was not sick, no relatives in the hospital. Not every one of his friends was sick. Even if they were sick, he could just heal them. Yet he had time for prayer. Jesus had time for prayer. But you, do you have time for prayer? You have bills, school fees, rentals, many things that are coming your way. Do you have time for prayer? Yourself, you're not feeling well. Your relatives are not feeling well. Your parents are not well. Some are fighting at home, but you don't pray. How are you going to walk on top of your waters? The waters of your life, the storms of your life. How are you going to walk upon them when you don't pray? Jesus, who was God, had time for prayer. Yet people who are ravaged by problems, people who are tempest-tossed, people with troubles, multiplicity of them, they don't pray. But Jesus had time for prayer. This songwriter asked me a question, the question that I'm asking you this time around. How long has it been since you talked to Jesus? How long has it been since you searched for his face? You know what? He's longing to hear and he's waiting to see you and I, every day in prayer. Jesus is waiting and is longing to see you and I in prayer. Now look at verse 46. After I'd sent them away, he departed into a mountain to pray. This is not a group prayer. This is not a prayer that we offer in church. This is not a prayer that is given maybe whilst we're eating or stuff like that. This is an individual prayer. He sent them away so that he had quality time with his God. When was the last time you had quality time with your God? Jesus created time. He had to send people away so that he could pray. May God bless you. This is my memory verse, just my memory verse. Do you want to pray? The power is in Jesus. May God bless you. Meet you next time on my memory verse. God bless you.